The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security and Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business and home security needs. Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Acomb. We are broadcasting from the Hesselson studio and in that virtual studio this morning. Sammy, thanks so much for being on the program.
Man, Frank, thank you for having me on this morning. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Well, you've got a lot going on. Let's talk a little bit about I Can't Get Close Enough. What's it like working with Exile?
You know, man, I mean, it was just one of those moments, you know. I mean, I've loved Exile ever since I was a kid and,
Sure.
you know, grew up on a lot of that music, you know, and then to, you know, record one of their biggest hits and then to have those guys come in and have the iconic voices
Right.
on the record with me, man, is just something I'll never forget, and I'll be thankful for those guys forever, man.
Yeah. What's the reaction been so far?
You know, it's been really good. Sonny and them shared it to their social medias and stuff, and we got some great feedback and everything off of their social media, and we've just had great comments on it, you know, and I'm just so thankful that people are liking it, and you know, if some people have never heard the record or never heard the group Exile, that's another reason that I did the song. If somebody hadn't heard of those guys, you know, that maybe they would find them along with finding my music as well.
And what goes in, and I know you've got other songs coming out very soon, what goes into your decision to record a song?
Well, I just try to find songs, Frank, that fit me and that move me. And, you know, if they move me, then I feel like, you know, I'll be able to relay that on to the audience and, you know, something that they know that, hey, man, this guy's not selling out just to cut a song. I mean,
Right.
He really feels it and the emotions in it, and I hope that that's what comes across, and I hope that's what somebody sees and feels.
What would you say for those that maybe aren't familiar with your music? How would you describe your sound?
I'm just an 80s, 90s country singer. If you love 80s and 90s country music, man, that's who I am.
You found it right there. Beautiful.
Yeah, that's it.
Now, obviously, and for those who may not be aware, you have a really unique story. I don't know how much you like to talk about it, but I know that there was a great article by Forbes back in October, by the way. What a wonderful, and tell us a little bit, because people can buy your autobiography. Tell us a little bit about A Hit with a Bullet, if you don't mind.
Well, I've got a book out called "A Hit with a Bullet: The Real Murder on Music Row," and if people don't know that or know anything about it, it's out for sale on Amazon, or you can get it on. If you don't like reading books, you can get it on digital to where you can listen to it. Or if you want to get an autographed copy, you can go to my website at sammysadler.com, and I'll autograph a copy of the book there to you and send it to you. But the book, Frank, is about my life and about what I've lived through and what I've come through.
Right.
If people don't know, you may have heard a song by George Strait and Alan Jackson called "Murder on Music Row."
Yeah.
And that song is, they're talking about country music dying on Music Row, but it really, there really was a murder on Music Row, and I believe that's where the guys got that idea to write that song that George Strait and Alan Jackson recorded. There was a real murder in 1989 down on Music Row, and my friend Kevin Hughes was shot and murdered. I was shot and left for dead.
Wow.
And it's known around the world as the murder on Music Row. And at that time, my friend Kevin Hughes was a chart manager for Cashbox magazine, which Cashbox in those days was a big rivalry to Billboard.
Right.
And he was a chart manager of where the top 100 records move on the charts. And tragically, he was shot and murdered. I was shot and left for dead. And it took him 13 and a half years to solve the crime and the case. And it ended up being some record promoters involved in it and what it was all about. Kevin, they were trying to pay Kevin money underneath the table to move the records up the charts, and he was an honest man, wouldn't take the money, and he got shot and killed over it.
Wow. What an amazing... Is this something... I know there's been, like, for lack of a better word, documentaries or, like, things recorded about it. Has it ever been put into the idea of a movie?
You know, well, I mean, obviously we've done all the crime deals and Court TV,
Right.
Nancy Grace, Unsolved Mysteries, all that stuff. But there's been some people talking to us, you know, on and off for the last 2 or 3 years here, but it's never really turned into anything yet, you know. And I'm just so grateful and thankful that I'm still here and I'm still alive. At the time, I didn't know it. Kevin and I had only been friends for about 7 or 8 months, and I found out Kevin was a Christian, and I wasn't a Christian at that time. And so for God to think enough of me and save
Yeah.
me and bring me through all this, I'm just so grateful and thankful. And it's a terrible thing that Kevin and his family had to go through, and they lost a son and a brother.
Right.
But he died for being an honest man, and I know that he's in a better place, and he wouldn't come back now if he could.
Wow. Would you say writing that book, I mean, because you dealt with it, you lived through it, was it cathartic? Was it difficult? What kind of emotions go through that?
It was both. I mean, it was an emotional. This past year, I was finally able to go through some of the records that were down at the police station of what they've got left of them. They said a lot of them's gotten lost and gotten ruined and all this other stuff. But I finally, going through some of the stuff that we went through, I saw the pictures of Kevin for the first time on the crime scene that night, and it just it really tore me up, and it really hurt me to see him like that, and just a shame that he had to go through that and had to die that way.
What an amazing and just fascinating story. So you lived through that, you overcome that. Why then get back into the music scene that was really so negative towards you at that point?
Well, I've never really left the music business, Frank. I took a little break for a little while, but I moved back to Texas after the shooting. It took me 2.5 years to get back up on my feet. I had to have two major operations. I didn't know how bad I was hurt the night that I got shot, but I ended up having a main artery severed in my arm. They had to graft and put a new artery in my arm from my leg, and then I had to. Thank God I still had my arm attached when I woke up.
Yeah.
But it was the size of about 2 or 3 basketballs. Is how swollen it was, and then I had to have a second operation about 6 months later to have a nerve graft done in it, and I moved back to Texas after that and came back to my home and my roots just to recover and to recoup, and I never moved back to Nashville. Put a new band together after all that, went back out on the road and started playing shows again, and we've never really left the music business. I mean, it's a fire and a passion inside me, and it's a gift that God gave me, and I'm going to use, and I'm still going to pursue my career and continue to pursue my career that God gave me so long ago.
When was it that you originally decided that this was going to be the choice for you, that a music career was going to be your life?
Well, I chose that at an early age.
Yeah.
I chose that when I was growing up in school, and that's never changed. Unfortunately, I've had some detours and things, and I ended up learning a family business that me and my dad had, and I remember doing a show with Eddie Raven one time, and Eddie said, "Sammy, always have another business or something to fall back on until your break comes in this music business." And my career has not been an easy ride, and it's not been easy for me, and we're still here just like anyone else. I came to Nashville just like anybody else to be a singer. Sure. And to try to have success, and I'm still doing that, and I've got a lot of things to be proud of. I've shared the stage with many artists, and I got to perform for a lot of different people and a lot of different audiences, and success to me is not based on, well, if you got a hit record or if you got a string of hit records.
Right.
Success to me is being able to do what you love to do, and God has blessed me and let me do some of the things, and obviously would I love to have a hit record? Sure, but if that's not in the cards for me, if I can go out here, play my music and do my shows and share my story, and if I can show somebody what I've been through, I don't know what people are going through out there in their lives, right. But if I can show them and somebody look at me and say, man, that guy survived all this and came through that, whatever you're going through out there, the same thing can happen to you. Call on the name of Jesus. He's right there with you, and he'll bring you through it.
When you, because we're talking about the single "I Can't Get Close Enough," which is out now, would you rather be in the studio or would you rather be in front of a live audience?
I love going in the studio and cutting records. That's the easiest part of it to me. But I really love going out on the road, and I really love performing for the people. And being able to meet new people and to meet new fans. And you know, when you meet those guys and they connect with you and they become a fan, they're a fan for life.
Right.
And you know, it's just a special bond that entertainers have with their fans, and we just so appreciate people liking our music and following us, and you know, showing up for us whenever we come out.
And you mentioned you've played with a lot of people, and we talked about Exile being on this album. Is there anybody kind of, if you had your dream pick, that you could play with right now?
Oh my gosh, man! I mean, well, I was an Elvis freak whenever I grew up and I was young, you know. So that would definitely be one of the top deals for me to be able to play with Elvis. You know, I know that probably would never happen even if he was still alive. But man, I loved his music, man, and he was my first really musical influence.
Well, and that's what I was going to ask. I always like to hear influences because sometimes it surprises you. So Elvis, a big influence. Did you have others that maybe, not that Elvis didn't have obviously that country sound a lot, but was there anybody else that kind of led you into the business you're in now?
Well, you know, like I said, Elvis was my first really big musical influence, and then as I grew and got older, I started listening to country music, and obviously, you know, Merle Haggard, George Jones, Johnny Cash, Marty Robbins, just on and on. You know, man, there's just so many guys that's influenced me in my music, and I'm just so glad I grew up really in that era, because I believe that, you know, the 70s, 80s, and 90s country music is some of the best music ever made.
Yeah, and it's so different. I know people have these conversations all along. It's not a negative, but it's just so different now when you turn on country radio as compared to even 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. You know, today's country music, you know, and everybody's got their opinion.
Sure.
You know, my opinion, it's not country music.
Right.
It's, you know, it's kind of rap and rock and roll and whatever you want to put it. It's not country music. It's not country music that I knew and I grew up on. And, you know, to each and to everybody's own of what they do. But for me, you know, that 70s, 80s, and 90s country music is who I am and who I'll always be. And that's who I represent. And if you come see a Sammy Sadler show, you're going to get that kind of music that kind of sound. And hopefully you'll like it and appreciate what I still try to do.
Isn't it interesting? Because a long time ago when I was on radio, I interviewed Whispering Bill Anderson, and he said back in the early days it wasn't really an affectionate nickname, country and kind of hillbilly music, and now, and fast forward to today, and everybody's kind of trying to steal that label that they're country.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. It's a little strange.
Yeah, it is. A lot's changed. Well, speaking of change, when you first got in the industry, how much has it changed for you? I mean, you look at it now, social media is such an important aspect to it.
Yeah, I mean, back then they didn't have social media. We didn't have computers. We didn't have all this stuff. I mean, I remember back in the early 90s, you know, I had probably, I think at one time I had close to 2,900 people in my fan club, which, you know, back then that was a lot to me, you know. I mean, but today, you know, I mean, if you don't, everybody thinks everybody's all about social media numbers and all of this stuff, and what it really ought to be about is the music and the people, not how many fans and not how many numbers it is. It ought to be about the music, and it ought to be about the people that's doing the music.
Now we're talking, I Can't Get Close Enough, Exile. That's out now, and I know you've got a lot coming up in the very near future. What do you have coming up next?
Well, I've got a brand new album that we've got finished, and I've got one or two other songs that we're trying to finish up to see if we're going to put that on the album. If I do, then it'll either have 12 songs or 10 songs on it. Okay. I hadn't made that choice yet, but we've just got two more to finish up, and then we've already got the next single. And the video done, and we're going to be seeing when we're going to be trying to come out with the next single and video. Is
it difficult to pick whether it seems like you'd want all the songs on? So is it difficult to cut to?
You know, it is. I went back, you know, and John Wesley Riles was a friend of mine, and John Wesley just recently passed away not too long ago. And when I was in Nashville cutting these songs. There are two of John. One of them's a John Wesley song, and I heard that he was sick whenever I was there recording, and I called him that night and left a message on his phone. And the next day, his wife Joni, which is Conway Twitty's daughter, she had texted me and said that John wasn't doing well, and I hadn't talked to him in about a year and a half, it was just ironic that I was in Nashville at that time recording that song, and find out about it and send him messages and stuff, and then just a couple of days later he passed away. So it's a very, this song is going to be a special song for me, and I will probably be putting it on the album, and it'll probably make the album. So it's just kind of ironic stuff happening there, but I want to put that song on there to keep John Wesley's memory on it, and it's just a great song as well.
Well, you've got, like I said, you've got a lot coming up. Obviously, you said a new album. Check the single out, I Can't Get Close Enough. Where could be, and the book, of course, that we mentioned, Hit with a Bullet. Where can people find out more?
They can go to my website, Frank, at sammysadler.com, and keep up with us there. If you go on Facebook, do not go to the blue check mark Facebook. That is not my page. I've been hacked there. Go to Sammy Sadler Official, and that is my new Facebook page. So follow me there on that and Twitter, and go to my YouTube, like and share. All you guys that go and do that helps us tremendously. So, find me up, sammysadler.com, Sammy Sadler Official Facebook. Go to my YouTube, share and like all of my stuff. And if you want a copy of my book, as I said earlier, go to sammysadler.com, get it there. I'll autograph that copy to you. Or you can go to Amazon, or you can go to the digital and download it and listen to it there.
Wow, that's great. Well, you'll have to make it up our way one of these days. Tour up here in New York when it gets warmer.
Love to, man. I definitely got to come in the summertime.
That's right. Well, let's talk again soon. I'd love to talk to you after the next single.
Frank, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for having the time to talk to me.
Of course.
And God bless you and your show and all the fans that listen to you and support you. And we just thank you for giving us a voice and telling our stories and playing our music for us.
Well, thank you so much. We'll do it again soon. Stay with us. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking after this.